How's it going, guys? Josh here, aka Olufemii, here with my bro Andrew Sandler. He's a freaking legend. He's a director, editor, producer. He's worked with artists such as Chris Brown, DJ Khaled, Kehlani, Usher, Ariana Grande, Mary J. Blige. And what he's going to do is he's actually going to give a few tips in the areas of pre-production, production, and post-production. This is just a lot of cool stuff that he's learned over the years.
So one of the most important pieces of pre-production is shot listing and scheduling. A lot of people take this for granted. When you show up to set the day of, you're gonna have a million people asking you all kinds of questions that are gonna need immediate answers. So if you take the day before to take the time and actually shot list and come up with a schedule, then on the day of production, you're gonna have a much better sense of overall vision and direction. So don't think you can wing it. Pre-production is a third of the process. So the next tip I'm going to give is about production. Sometimes in music videos, you're on a limited budget and a limited schedule, which means you have one day to shoot and sometimes only one location. I'd recommend really taking the time to walk around with your DP and your production designer at the beginning of the day and find different walls and backdrops and different areas of that one location that can make you feel like you're in multiple locations. Sometimes it's something as simple as finding a textured wall and switching up the lighting just a little bit to make the edit feel bigger than it is. Another thing you can do is don't be afraid to step outside the location and pick up some extra B-roll shots or exterior shots, even some drone shots. Sometimes introducing that into the edit later on can make the video feel much bigger than it is. One more small tip I'm going to give about production is the importance of having your own director monitor. Sometimes it's a little overwhelming for the DP if you're huddled over his shoulder looking at a 6-inch monitor on the camera. Make sure you have your own director's monitor that's big enough for you and your client to view. Once your DP has set up the shot, then look at your director's monitor and determine if the framing is telling the story that you want to tell. The next tip is about post-production, specifically color correction. It's always good to choose a look on set that defines the project, but don't bake that look into your project. Make sure you shoot on a camera that you're able to shoot in a log format, which means once you get to the edit room, you have the ability to change your mind and adjust the colors in post. For example, sometimes you might really love a look on set. When you get to the edit room, the label might decide that they want a poppy video to feel a little more gritty. In that case, you at least have the ability to change the look, up the saturation, or crush the blacks if that's what it calls for. But make sure that you give yourself the latitude to make that change in post. I feel like a lot of directors really underestimate the importance of color correction and really how it can change the tone and feeling of your project. All right, the last tip I'm going to give is about post-production. I feel like this is something a lot of people discount or don't really think about, and that is keeping your edit process sacred. You know, as a young filmmaker, I would get so excited about a project that I want to show people right away, or sometimes when the edit wasn't even done. Sometimes I feel like that can be super detrimental to your project. Make sure that you're at a place in the edit where it's complete or you feel good enough to show other people. If you show people too early, you might not get the right feedback or response that you want. And I feel like the edit room is the most inventive part of the process. So keep that energy good, keep yourself in a good space, and don't show people, even the client, if you can help it, until it's fully ready to be shown. Josh, thanks for having me, man. I just did a really cool podcast on Black with No Cream where I gave 10 tips for filmmakers. If you want to check that out, you can also follow me on social media on Instagram at Andrew_Sandler. Keep creating every day. Thanks for having me, man.
Add your name and place of residence to my latest Instagram post, and I promise to give your Instagram page a little peek. Thanks for watching.